Hey everybody, what's going on? In this video, we're talking about how to find jobs at startups. The first place we'll look is on the websites of venture capital firms. So a lot of VC firms will post jobs that their portfolio companies are hiring for. This is a great place to find high quality startups. After that, we'll look at two other job boards, Y Combinator and Wellfound. The screen we're on right now is the Andreessen Horowitz or A16Z job board. First, let's look at a list. I just did a Google search for like the top venture capital firms. Here is a quick list. You've got Sequoia, Andreessen Horowitz, Kleiner Perkins, First Round Capital, Accel. So a lot of these have job boards. Not all of them do, but I have tabbed out here a few of them that do have job boards. So this is Andreessen Horowitz, definitely one of the top tier venture capital firms in the whole world. And it's a job board just like any other job board. But the reason it's so great is all of the companies that have job postings that you're going to find here are companies that Andreessen Horowitz has invested in. And the reason that's so important as you're trying to work for a startup is that there are good startups and there are bad startups. A lot of startups fail. And so if you are finding a job at a startup that is backed by a top tier VC firm that literally specializes in finding startups that are going to be successful, that's already, a vote of confidence or a mark of credibility to tell you that this startup is a good place to work. So just a quick look at what you can search for. Our channel is mostly about tech sales. So you might be interested in sales roles at a startup. So you can filter by sales roles and you'll notice that a lot of the common tech sales jobs that we often talk about on the channel are here in terms of account executive, a lot of account executive positions, solutions architect and solutions engineer is a more technical tech sales role. And then you can search for all these other types of roles as well. If you're on the technical side, if you're an engineer, you can search for all of those roles as well. You can search by industry, search by company, but all of these companies and jobs are at companies that A16Z or Andreessen Horowitz has invested in. It's going to be a very similar interface for the other VC firms. In fact, now that I click between these, it looks like it's the exact same software underneath. So we don't need to go through it all again, but now these companies are going to be companies that Sequoia has invested in. So again, if we look at the sales roles, looks like Baidu is one of the company, Instacart is one of the companies, Service Titan, Verkada. So again, this is a great way to find jobs that are at companies that are backed by some of the best VC firms in the world. And again, I think the interface is the same for a lot of these VC firms. So we don't need to go through the whole interface again. But this one is Kleiner Perkins, and then Accel has one as well. Okay, this one is slightly different. So you can search by companies if you know what company you're looking for, or you can search by jobs. So let's try for this one. Let's start with, let's start with sales development representative. I'm curious if any of these startups are hiring for entry-level tech sales roles. Okay, so there are a few. Radar, Propeller, Prodigal, Process Street, Facilio, Cohesity. Great, there are actually a lot. Payfit, Lower. Yeah, so definitely a great, and let's just do, just in case folks are not interested in sales roles, let's just do software engineer. Probably gonna be a ton of these. Yeah, so no surprise, like every tech startup needs to hire software engineers. So in review, go search for venture capital firms and then search for the jobs that are at the companies that venture capital firm has invested in. Most VC firms are going to have a job board for their portfolio companies on their website. This is a great place to find jobs at startups that have already gotten VC investments from some of the best VC firms in the world. Two more places you can go to find jobs at startups. One is Y Combinator. So Y Combinator is what's called an accelerator. They have standard investment terms. So I think the way it works is that they consider a bunch of applications at once. I think they do it twice a year. Their standard check is $500,000, if I'm not mistaken, for like a set percentage of the company. They do the same terms for every company, I'm pretty sure. And a lot of the best companies of all time have been Y Combinator companies. So similar to finding startups that VC firms have invested in, finding startups that have been through Y Combinator or YC is another way to find startups that have a vote of confidence, have a mark of credibility. And especially in the startup world, there are, like I said, good startups and bad startups. So it really helps to have kind of a filter to make sure you're applying to higher quality startups. In terms of this job board, it's really straightforward. So these are the main categories that you can apply in. Let's look at what they have for sales. So a lot of sales leadership, but honestly, everything, because sales development representative is entry level. Account executive requires usually, at least a year or two of experience. And then these are our leadership positions. So you've really got, and they've even got an intern position here. So great job opportunities across the board at startups. Let's look at some of these other categories. So design, if you have some design experience, looks like just product designer is the standard role that startups are hiring for here, or UI UX designer. What about, did we just look at product? No, we looked at design. So product manager is the standard role that startups are hiring for in the product category, and then software engineer, of course. So software engineer is going to be the most common title there. These are the jobs that Y Combinator hires for. And then lastly, so Wellfound, I think it was back in like 2010 or something. If I'm not mistaken, AngelList was originally a service where startups could meet investors. And then at some point they launched, I think it was called Jobs or AngelList Talent originally. And just recently they changed their name to Wellfound. So this is one of the best services in the startup world in terms of connecting people together. And Wellfound is their specific service to connect people to startup job opportunities. So this is going to work like a very typical job search website or job board. Let's just, sales development representatives, it already preloads. So that says senior, okay, so sales development representative, SDR, great. So tons of entry-level tech sales roles. Let's just, out of curiosity, look at some of those other roles that were that we were seeing on the other sites. So software engineer. So again, nothing, actually one more thing I want to do. Let's click into an actual job posting to see sales development representative. Let's click into a job posting to see what we can, okay, so compensation here. You can apply and write a note to the person hiring for the position, which is awesome. And other than that, just a typical job posting. So in summary, 3 places you can go to apply for startup jobs. Start with the job boards on venture capital websites. They will post the jobs of their portfolio companies. You can look up your own list of the VC firms that you respect and admire and think make wise investment decisions. And then second, Y Combinator is a startup accelerator. They also have a job board for all of the startups that have been through their accelerator. This is another very good mark of credibility for a startup. And then Wellfound is just basically a startup job board. So this is probably going to have maybe the broadest reach out of all of them, and you can use this just like any normal job board. So hopefully this helps you to find a job at a startup, and thanks for watching.